bright days before Morgoroth darkened the land of Avonlea. Before that fair world slipped into the domain of dread, there existed an order of paladins known as the Circle. Avonlea and its surrounding forests were protected by this renowned group of champions, all of whom were devoted to the cause of law and order. Then, one stormy night, while the skies raged against the land, he appeared. Morgoroth, bane of goodness and light.
I must keep going. I must. What is that I see before me? The White Court of the Circle? Yes. There I shall find shelter. And salvation, if the gods please. By the gods, I shall atone for the murders I have committed, the atrocities that stain my soul. By the gods, I will atone!
Making the furtive sign of the evil eye, a servant ushered the strange mage into the private chambers of Ferran Shadowborn, the leader of the Circle. That noble paladin listened to Morgoroth's words, and listened well.
Hear me out, Lord Ferran. Hear my cause before judging me. That is all I ask.
I have granted you an audience, man, and I will listen to your tale. Now tell me your troubles, for I see that much has befallen you.
And so Morgoroth told Ferran Shadowborn of his past, and the mage did not stint in painting the picture black. But the noble paladin saw the suffering that racked Morgoroth, and Ferran knew the man longed only to escape the evil of his ways and begin anew. The leader of the mighty Order of the Circle asked the mage to swear an oath of allegiance. Morgoroth readily agreed, vowing to repent his past wickedness. In exchange, Ferran granted the wizard a parcel of land here in Fair Avonlea. And that is how Morgoroth came to live peacefully in a world free of his troubled past. The very night that Morgoroth bid adieu to his new liege, he entered the forest that was to become his home. In the deepest part of the forest, just at midnight, he began to chant. All through the night he performed his arcane rituals, calling upon the mysteries of magic he alone controlled. Morgoroth the Black took no heed of the storm around him as he worked his magics upon the land. At dawn, the mage stopped, exhausted but triumphant. Before him stood Tergeron Manor, the estate that magic had built in a single stormy night.
At last, a home to call my own. Oh, I will prove worthy of these good people here in Avonlea. I pray the gods I will.
Rumors of the house's sudden construction whispered through the land of Avonlea. Before long, the tales which were spread included stories of ghosts haunting the manor house, and Morgoroth's wood came to be called the Phantasmal Forest. How rightly so. Like all wizards, Morgoroth was mysterious and aloof. To Ferran, however, he proved to be a friend and trusted counselor. The mage's sage advice never failed the paladin. The rest of the circle did not fully trust the moody Morgoroth. None dared speak against him, however, for it was clear he held the esteem of Ferran. Years passed, and Morgoroth's excellent service allayed the fears of the Circle's members. Not even the presence of wailing spirits haunting the phantasmal forest caused the paladins disquiet. For were not spirits simply a natural part of a wizard's setting? Indeed, Morgoroth kept the lost souls under control, and they never bothered Fair Avonlea. Now, Ferran Shadowborn had a sister by the name of Aurora. She was as lovely as the dawn after which she had been named. Her skin was pale with the flush of roses, and her hair was the golden glimmer of sunlight on corn silk. Moreover, she was blessed with a pure soul, free of envy. No man had yet touched her heart, and she longed only to serve her church.
By the gods, the feelings that well up inside of me when I see her. Her grace, intelligence, beauty. I fell in love with her the moment that I saw her, trite as that might sound. But who would not? She was always unfailingly kind to me. But she loves the church, not me. And she used to be its high priestess.
I dare not tell Morgoroth of the longing that stirs in me at the sight of him. Oh, how can I? I am soon to take my formal vows as High Priestess. All my life I have prepared to be a priestess to the gods. How could I give myself instead to just one man? If he were to ask, though, I fear I would, with a joyous heart.
The would-be lovers hesitated, and so neither declared their love. Aurora took her vows as High Priestess, swearing her life to celibacy and the church. And all the while, she prayed she would find comfort there. Morgoroth likewise turned to other distractions when his feelings grew too much to bear. He spent long hours researching new magic or questing with Ferran. The lovers met every now and then in the course of Morgoroth's business at the Circle. Though their eyes were filled with longing, neither spoke of it, each falsely assuming that they meant little to the other. Aurora was still kind to Morgoroth, and the wizard still cordial to his benefactor's sister. But the tension and longing mounted between the two.
Blast! I'll never master this spell. Aurora, how I wish you were here. I would tell you of the terrible life I've led. How I've tried so hard to atone for my wicked ways since coming here to Fair Avonlea. If you were only mine, I would be the happiest of men. If we were back in my homeland, I would simply claim you for my own and slay anyone who would deny me. Ah, what a love it would be. But here I must abide by your laws. And I will atone. Perhaps a walk would clear my head of these untainable fantasies. No, it is almost sunset and the ghosts will be out. I cannot bear you spirits. You spite me, mock me, reminding me of the evils that I have done. Yet, some of you were evil as well, and my execution of you was brutal, but just. Why will you not let me live in peace? Why? Why? How long must I be in such torment? How many months, nay, years must pass before my love for Aurora dies a natural death? Oh, but will it? Will my love ever die? Or will it continue to haunt me like the spirits in the wood? I can bear this no longer. I must see her and confess my love. She will never speak to me again. But anything, even that, is preferable to this torment.
That night, Morgoroth went to see Aurora. After a few words of polite conversation, the pair fell silent. Then Morgoroth reached out and tentatively took Aurora's hand.
I love you, Aurora. I have always loved you. And though I know you could never love me, I had to tell you of my feelings. You see, I cannot bear it anymore. But please, do not be offended by my directness. I ask for nothing. Only that you know.
Aurora tore her hand away and fled the room. Morgoroth, convinced that Aurora was horrified by his declaration, left the temple slowly in a state of deep despair. The young high priestess, meanwhile, entered her private chambers.
Oh, what have I done? I love him so, but I must remain true to my vows. Perhaps he never meant his words, for why has he waited until now to speak? Did he sense my desire for him? Did I lure him into speaking? Oh, I have been so evil. He is not to blame, only I am. I should never see him again, never tempt him with my longing glances. But how am I to live without his love? I must devote myself to penance. Through prayers, all problems are resolved, and I will learn how to banish these evil thoughts from my heart.
The despondent Morgoroth withdrew to Tergeron Manor, and for more than a year he and Aurora shunned each other. Morgoroth's heart grew bleak. Still, he held to the new ideals of goodness Ferran had instilled in him over the past 6 years. Then a strange foreign knight arrived in the fair world of Avonlea. The man demanded an audience with Ferran Shadowborn and the other members of the Circle. Ferran requested Morgoroth and Aurora to attend the meeting, for he often sought their counsel. As always, the pair avoided looking at each other. Indeed, Morgoroth pulled his hooded cloak lower over his brow to shut out the vision of Aurora. But it did not prevent him from recognizing the wayfaring knight.
Lambert. It is Lambert, the man who drove me from my home.
I beg the indulgence of the court, Lord Shadowborn. I seek a mage, a most despicable wizard of black magics, and an even blacker heart. Alas, I know not his name.
The knight went on to list the crimes this mage had committed in his homeland, and Morgoroth knew it was only a matter of time before he was discovered. He looked about the circle, saw the faces of the paladins growing dark with anger, and discreetly left the council.
They will discover soon enough that I am the wizard Lambert seeks. But what am I to do? I will not suffer that knight's condemnation of me. I will defend my right to redemption.
So Morgoroth returned to Tergeron Manor, and shortly afterward, Lambert caught up with the mage. With nary a word, the knight raised his axe and attacked. Morgoroth responded instinctively with deadly spells he had hoped never to use again. The battle was long and bitter. In the end, however, Lambert was no match for Morgoroth. The knight fell dead at the wizard's feet.
Your mission is completed, Lambert. And you have not died in vain. You have made clear what I am, and what I will always be. A necromancer, practitioner of dark magic, servant of evil. Indeed, the spirits have known it all along. And soon, Ferran and the others shall know as well. And they will come for me. Well, let them come. I will be ready.
Lambert's words had left the circle stunned, incensed by tales of the wizard's evil, and convinced that Morgoroth was the one Lambert had come seeking. The members of Avonlea's council made plans to drag the wizard from his lair. Alone of all the circle's members, Ferran Shadowborn counseled patience, trying to calm the other paladins.
Is an evil Morgoroth should be brought down and he's not.
Bring him down.
The man came here intent upon making a new life, a life free of the evil in his homeland. While I do not know all the details of Morgoroth's past, it is clear to me that he is a man who has done much evil, but who seeks salvation. He came to me 6 years ago, and I asked his allegiance then. In return, he vowed to reform. Tell me, am I to turn my back on him now?
The council members grew silent, and none would speak.
The wizard Morgoroth has done me no harm, brothers. Is there one among you who will bear witness otherwise? Has he ever been less than faithful to our order?
No, he's not. The paladins of the circle, all men of honesty and good faith, could not argue the noble knight's words. And so it was decided that Ferran would ride to Tergeron Manor and speak directly to the wizard. Ferran Shadowborn reached the gates to Tergeron Manor, his heart heavy and filled with misgivings, for he perceived that his friend Morgoroth was losing the battle that raged within him between good and evil.
Morgoroth! Morgoroth, open the gate and let me pass. I come here in friendship. Do not fear me. I believe in your innate goodness. I am here to help you. Let me counsel you as you have counseled me so many times. What is this? The gate opens. Some sorcery? But I will enter, Morgoroth. For you are... By the gods! The knight Lambert! Now a living, rotting corpse! Rest, poor soul. Rest in everlasting peace. But now, to find Morgoroth.
The noble paladin Ferran Shadowborn stepped inside Tergeron Manor, but whatever became of him was never to be known. Almost certainly, he was slain by the Black Wizard or his minions. Whether Ferran's spirit rests in peace, or roams the phantasmal forest in misery, none can say. Morgoroth did not wait for the remainder of the circle to attack, not while he still had the advantage of surprise. Instead, the wizard entered the temple of Aurora Shadowborn just as the High Priestess and her attendants were saying the evening prayers.
Gods, by your benevolence, continue to shine. Morgoroth!
Yes, Aurora. It is I. And now you will truly be mine.
The evil wizard cast a powerful enchantment upon the young High Priestess.
Morpheus, Taxus!
and Aurora fell unconscious into Morgoroth's waiting arms. Before anyone could even move, Morgoroth uttered another incantation.
Mirror ipsum.
The wizard and his captive disappeared. Upon hearing the news of Aurora's capture, and thereby knowing that Ferran Shadowborn had fallen to the wizard's power, the remaining 11 members of the Circle resolved that Morgoroth be destroyed without hesitation. Immediately they donned their armor, girded their swords, and set off for Tergeron Manor. Three of the knights were slain before they even reached Tergeron Manor, for the phantasmal forest had become a nightmare world of hostile ghosts and vicious undead, all under the control of the necromancer Morgoroth. 2 more paladins died at the gates to Tergeron Manor, slain by a pack of spectral wolves. The 6 remaining knights, all that were left the once mighty Order of the Circle, entered Morgoroth's manor home. And as with the noble Ferran Shadowborn, no trace of these brave men has ever since been found. On the night the Order of the Circle perished, a strange storm swept Avonlea, much like the savage tempest that had marked Morgoroth's arrival some 6 years before. All night the winds blew, the rain thundered down, and nature berated the land. Trees fell to the earth, broken like twigs. All the people of Avonlea cowered in their homes, certain their world was being ripped apart. In a way, they were right. For in the morning, when the people joined forces intending to mob Tergeron Manor, there was no sign of the phantasmal forest, nor of Tergeron Manor. Only a gently rolling hill, marked with the debris of the night storm. The evil wrought by the necromancer Morgoroth was vile indeed, so cruel and malicious that his deeds had caught the approving eye of the dark powers of Ravenloft. These evil forces wrapped their spectral might about the wizard's home and tore it from its roots, transplanting Morgoroth and Tergeron into the demiplane of dread. Morgoroth was quick to realize that he and his home had been magically abducted by someone, or something, with tremendous powers. Ominously, the still form of Aurora had been placed inside a glass coffin, which, despite Morgoroth's frenzied efforts, he could not reach.
I shall find a way out of this dreaded place, Aurora. And I will free you of this cursed coffin. I used a spell of my own creation once before to escape Lambert and his men, and I will use it again.
Morgoroth set out to enchant a freestanding mirror in his parlor, intending that the mirror should act as a portal out of the land of mists. But the spell did not act as planned.
Papas infrin comantus mirror ipsum. Curses!
The mirror exploded into 13 enchanted fragments, which became ethereal and were scattered throughout the manor house by the blast, regaining their substance elsewhere.
Ah! What is happening? What is happening to me? The gods!
Morgoroth's physical form, tied so closely to the enchantment cast upon the mirror, also turned ethereal and scattered throughout the house. His very essence imbued Tergeron Manor with an evil sentience. The transformation corrupted Morgoroth, robbing him of his last shred of sanity. Now, decades later, Aurora still lays deathlike in her coffin, waiting for someone to free her from Morgoroth's spell. " A sturdy iron gate bars your admittance to the manor house, its fiendishly sharp spikes seeming to claw at the air. 2 brick pillars uphold the rusting gate. Metal plaques, corrupted with decades of rust and lettered in a strange alphabet, are set within the pillars. A stout, though corroded lock hampers your admittance. The slate walls surrounding this macabre manor loom upward before you. Cracks run like spider webs across the surface of the forbidding stonework. Despite the toll time has taken on the wall, you suspect it could withstand even an angry giant. At the end of a partially overgrown carriageway, you find a small stable. Some of its walls have been felled by vines over the years, but the hitching post and empty water trough have been kept clear of growth. Within the stable stand the motionless skeletons of 6 horses. 12 sightless sockets gaze upon you, and their bony jaws seem to grin at some silent joke. Could they be waiting for you? The tangled, overgrown shrubs reveal a long, narrow pool. Placed before the manor house to reflect the image of the building, the pool is now covered with a thick scum. The stagnant water yields a foul odor, as well as a sickly mist. A faint disturbance ripples through the pond's layer of algae. Is something there? Unlikely, for what could live in those murky, tainted depths? The remains of a long-neglected garden spread before you. Brambles from overgrown bushes clutch your clothing, the rose's thorny stems clinging tenaciously. The cloying aroma of strange blossoms hangs in the air, as does a visible haze of yellow pollen. Is the sweet scent perfume or poison? The tangled grass gives way to the stone pavement of a courtyard. The rampant growth of greenery elsewhere on the manor grounds seems restrained here, because the walls of Tergeron Manor embrace 3 sides of the courtyard, though perhaps smothers might be a better word. The tower to which the rest of the manor seems to have been anchored rises high into the air, spreading the light at its top uselessly out into the night, like a lighthouse long deserted by the sea. What sinister powers might this beacon be beckoning? Looming up on either side of you are the slate walls surrounding the estate and the even higher and more forbidding walls of the manor itself. The narrow quarters lean toward you with a perceptible tilt. Only the faintest rays of light from the tower spill down into this dismal place. The rotting floor of the porch creaks loudly, an ominous sound. when you're trying to be quiet. The cold, immovable barrier of the manor's back door seems somehow shockingly solid in contrast. The tangled growth in one corner of the garden gives way to an area populated by a collection of trees and shrubs which have been pruned topiary style. The menacing shapes resemble the forms of broken men and women. Deformed arms sway toward you, seemingly with sinister intent. The botanical nightmares reach for you, the soft yew branches scraping your skin. It feels as though hundreds of tiny hands are clutching at you. From between two topiary statues, a knight dressed in glinting armor and wielding a battle axe advances upon you, his gleaming eyes fixed on a point past your head.
Morgoroth!
The knight staggers back suddenly, though why, you do not know. As the man falls to his knees, a chill creeps along your spine. You can see through the knight to the twisted shrubs behind his transparent body.
Morgoroth! I curse you, even as I die.
The fallen man slumps to the ground, light glinting off the bitter edge of the battle axe. Then, as abruptly as he appeared, the knight vanishes. Surrounding the western side of the manor are rows of white slabs, rising like uniformed soldiers from the earth. These tombstones are all without names. Who would bury so many dead without giving them the respect all life deserves? Who could mourn so little, the passing of so many lives? The glass walls and ceiling of this room are iced over with heavy frost. The greenhouse is held together by a strange metal framework, faintly reminiscent of a web spun by some mechanical spider. The remnants of dead plants line the walls. The air here is frigid and roiling with condensation. Moisture begins to bead on your skin, sliding across your flesh with icy tendrils. The sound of your footfalls echoes forlornly off the frost-covered stone walls of this large storage area. The air here is cold and dry, and your breath shimmers whitely as you breathe. A stale, musty odor assails your nose, reminding you of an old spice cupboard or a root cellar. Crates and barrels, all unmarked and intact, occupy much of the room. A rack on one wall holds rakes, scythes, and other gardening implements. All normal enough equipment, you think. Then you see the half-dozen boxes lining the south wall. They look rather like coffins. In the northwest corner, a flight of sturdy wooden steps runs up the side of the wall to a landing, then turns against another wall and ends at a trap door in the ceiling. This door is the only other egress from the room, but where can it lead? pair of gilded doors separates the courtyard from the entrance hall. Moonlight from outside shimmers through the door's delicate glass and streaks across the black and white tiles of the marble floor. Sparkling in the wan light are thousands of gleaming fragments of glass, remnants of a shattered crystal chandelier lying in the center of the room. Twin stairwells, both richly carpeted and bordered by intricately carved mahogany banisters, rise up and end at decorative doors on the floor above. The whole effect is very grand, but also cold and forbidding. A torrent of hot air rushes past you as the door to this closet is opened. The acrid smell of smoke and something else, perhaps brimstone, assaults your senses. Moments later, however, the painful heat is gone, replaced by the chill of the manor house again. Oddly, the interior of this large, bare closet yields no clue as to the source of heat. You struggle to open the door to this closet, the wood seeming to be impossibly heavy. Or could there be someone holding the door shut from the other side? But no, the door slowly opens. And then the door is wrenched from your hands and slammed shut. What foulness is this? You struggle mightily against the door, trying to open it again and confront whatever horror lies inside. The door bursts open, exploding outward and literally slamming into you. Suddenly, the door is ripped off its hinges, smashing you against the opposite wall. Double doors of ornately carved mahogany swing wide to allow your entrance into the gallery. This elegant square room is paved in the same black and white checkerboard of marble as the entrance hall, but its walls are lined with velvet drapes the color of mulberries. As you enter the gallery, you are startled to find a cluster of knightly statues frozen in battle. Their faces are contorted in horror, as if making a last futile stand against an unseen and unknown enemy. What massacre is forever enshrined in this room? The double doors to this room hang from wrenched hinges and nearly fall off in the faint disturbance caused by your passing. Inside, the reason for the door's condition becomes clear. A tremendous explosion took place here at some point. The walls of the parlor are blackened with heat, the fine fabrics scorched. The carpet is nothing but burnt ashes and bits of frayed wool, and the furniture, save for a huge cheval mirror, is shattered and charred. The frame of the mirror is intact and surprisingly unscathed, but the glass is missing, leaving only the back of the mirror in place. A series of lines are burnt into the wood, forming the outline of what appears to be a puzzle, or could they be the image of the 13 shards? One such fragment lies amidst the ashes at the base of the mere, its brightness glinting in the dust. Dominating this room is an immense table, draped in the finest white linen, and set with porcelain bisque china, cut crystal and golden utensils. 4 elaborate candelabra, each holding a dozen white candles and a single black one, serve to break up the long expanse of the table. 2 silver chandeliers hang from the ceiling, swaying gently in some unknown breeze. Each of the 4 arms holds a dozen white tapers surrounding a black one. A wrought iron stove dominates the northwest corner of the kitchen, and pots and pans line the walls, as do racks of cutlery. A pump and basin occupy the northeast corner, though there's no sign of water. The air here is bitterly cold. Just off the kitchen is a pantry lined with shelves containing numerous jars, each filled with fruits or vegetables. Dried meats hang from the hooks, and barrels, presumably filled with flour, sugar, and the like, line the south wall. Oddly, the food shows no sign of decay, nor is there any dust. Could there be a natural explanation for this? The long hallway before you is lined with plush red carpeting, subduing all noise and lending the area an unearthly quiet. The eeriness is enhanced by a dozen suits of armor, each holding a long sword in battle readiness. A strange, icy blue glow emanates from a trio of glass spheres hanging from the ceiling. The stone walls of this storage chamber are bare save for the wooden shelves lining them. Linens of various sorts are neatly folded and stacked on the shelves. Frost clings to the fabrics and walls, and your breath skirls out in white waves away from your face. A brass bed is centered on the north wall of this comfortable guest bedroom. A brown velvet-covered chair rests before the marble fireplace, which is devoid of wood or heat. An empty armoire, its doors open wide, completes the picture. Patches of ice have formed in low spots in the floor, while frost covers all the metal surfaces in the room, as well as a gleaming shard of glass resting upon the bed. A luxurious curtained bed dominates this guest chamber. It is an elegant bedroom, richly appointed with gilt and velvet. An ornately carved marble fireplace is set with logs ready to burst into flame. A leather chair and mahogany writing table complete the chamber. There seems nothing of note here in this room, save perhaps for what might lie inside the bed. 'The 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 An air of gloomy solemnity hangs about the room, seeming to increase as you near the bed. As you draw back the curtains, you catch a glimpse of age-tarnished metal, and then the armor of a knight lying in state. And then, the corrupted, desiccated skeletal remains of the knight himself. A broken sword and crushed shield lie at the forgotten knight's feet, while a helmet rests at the man's head. Oddly, the bathroom seems to have suffered considerable damage over the years. The hand pump in the corner is rusted to the point of uselessness. A tub carved of some porous stone is lined with frost, radiating the cold. Shelves line one wall, holding an assortment of perfumes, oils, toiletries, and fabrics. By far the most luxurious room in the entire manor, the master bedroom is bedecked with silken draperies lining the walls, and a massive four-poster bed. A fireplace runs the length of one entire wall, stocked with wood and ready to be ignited. A strange glass orb hangs from a chain directly above the bed. It glows dimly, shedding an amber light that touches the room. Perhaps the orb gives off heat as well, for the room seems less chill than the others in this macabre manor. A dizzying array of black and white tiles confronts the viewer in a checkerboard pattern, lining not only the floor, but the walls and ceiling as well. After blinking once or twice to orient your vision, you see shelves containing an assortment of toiletries. A porcelain bathtub, ornamented with gilt, rests in the center of the room. Oddly, water was left inside the tub, which has now turned to ice. A piece of silvered glass glimmers in the center. Men's garments are located here inside the master bedroom's closet. All are constructed of some black material, an inky cloth that seems to absorb light. The room before you is overwhelming with its touches of the fantastic, the scientific, and the macabre. It is a wizard's laboratory, and you have never seen one more elaborate or better stocked. Shelves lining the north wall contain all manner of boxes, bottles, vials, decanters, beakers, and the like. They are all marked clearly in a language unlike any you have ever seen. An oak ladder, anchored to the top of the shelves many feet above, is fixed with wheels at its base, providing access to all the shelves. Unusual items such as metal pellets, ground quartz, bat wings, and rodent skulls are scattered throughout the room, along with something that looks suspiciously like a human heart preserved inside a glass container. The south wall is also lined with shelves and fitted with a rolling ladder, but the goods stocked here are beakers, burners, scales, and other laboratory equipment. Half a dozen work tables are scattered about the room, apparently devoted to different experiments. A creeping horror steals over you as you realize the dried substance in one set of tubing must surely have been blood. you step into the hall of an immense library. Its walls soar upward, filled with literally thousands of books, scrolls, and tablets, and the musty odor of ancient tomes, inks, and crumbling papers. A trio of mahogany tables partnered with comfortable leather-covered chairs are scattered throughout the room. 2 of the tables are set with inkwells, stacks of paper, quill pens, and charcoal pencils, all perfectly ordinary items for a library. The 3rd table holds something equally appropriate for a library. A massive tome, fully 3 feet long and more than a foot thick. It is covered with gleaming black leather, free of dust, and is sealed with an ornate golden clasp. Strangest of all is the shimmering blue aura surrounding the tome. Every now and then, the aura sparks and glimmers with fragments of light, all glinting off the silvered shard of glass lying atop the book. Bitter odors from caustic acids mingle with the frigid chill in this darkened chamber. The air bites at your nostrils and stings your eyes. Indeed, the place is so tainted with strange chemicals that your exposed skin begins to itch. Despite the blurred vision of your tearing eyes, you can see that this room is filled with small crates and barrels. All are unmarked and sealed with tiny silver locks. In fact, the chamber looks like nothing other than a miniature warehouse. This room, colder than any others on the previous floor, is filled with cobwebs. The disturbed dust sparkles in the light. A layer of fine grit carpets the floor, unmarked by the footprints of either man or beast. Numerous ropes dangle motionless from holes in the ceiling above. Despite the faint breeze that drifts through the room, the bell pulls do not sway. Amber light shines down through the holes, illuminating the pulls. The bone-numbing cold of this room assaults you as you enter its dark depths. Then something more insidious touches your senses, an odor of decay and corruption so foul you nearly retch. The source of this evil stench is the half-decayed bodies of prisoners held behind iron bars in small cells throughout the room. Some of the cells are piled high with bodies in various stages of decay, as if prisoners were shut in with what remained of past victims. At the far end of the room, a body lies crumpled on the floor outside a cell. Unlike the prisoners in the cells who wear the garb of common folk, this woman is dressed in armor and wears a sword at her side. Clutched in the desiccated remains of her hand is a gleaming piece of glass. You have entered a room with a steepled roof soaring high above you, though only the bottom half of the walls are enclosed. A trio of giant brass bells and a dozen lesser carillons hang from a massive wooden beam running the center of the room. 15 ropes lead from the bells through holes in the floor and down to the room below. Directly beneath the bells is a table wrought of delicately spun silver, its surface a gleaming mirror. It is a thing of beauty in this place of bitter cold, but on its surface rests the forbidding spectacle of a coffin. It seems to have been fashioned from a single piece of glass, which reflects the light and obscures its contents. A stiff wind whirls suddenly through the room, clawing at your clothes and stinging your eyes and skin. With every breath, a cloud of white steam quickly crystallizes and forms a thin layer of frost on all it touches. But still, you draw nearer to the coffin and look through the glass. To find the perfectly preserved remains of a beautiful young woman, Aurora Shadowborn, beloved of Morgoroth, dressed in a bridal gown of blackest velvet. As you ponder the spectacle of such beauty and youth wasted, you catch the faintest rise of her breast, and you realize she is not dead. She is alive. A brilliant glow envelops the mirror as it finishes the tale of Morgoroth's folly. The light quickly brightens to white intensity, hurting your eyes and threatening to blind you. The caustic smell of sulfur claws at your throat. Then a wave of blistering heat singes the hair on your exposed skin as you throw up your hands instinctively to block the assault. Suddenly, the bright light, the heat, and even the stench are gone. The frigid chill of Tergeron bites once more into your flesh, the cold air searing your lungs. Through the tears stinging your eyes, you notice that the mirror is once again whole. Visible within its silver depths is the image of a painfully thin but still distinguished man. The reflection steps forward smoothly and emerges from the mirror as if it were a doorway. The man smiles broadly, with a predatory gleam in his eyes.
Let the world beware. Morgoroth has returned.
With this last attack, the evil wizard staggers backward, then falls to his knees. His eyes lock with yours. With his last enchantment, Morgoroth falls forward and lies motionless on the floor. Morgoroth cries out in agony as your attack catches him unprepared. Even as the evil mage falls to the floor, a misty form rises from his body. For the briefest moment, the vapor floats above Morgoroth's still form. Then the mist is forcibly sucked back into the mirror. Shards of glass burst from the frame, scattered far and wide by the force of this strange magical detonation. The fragments vanish ethereally through the walls. Your surmise that the mirror is Morgoroth's weakness is correct. As you attack the mirror with magic and might, Morgoroth...
No, not.
Morgoroth falls to the floor, surrounded by the shattered mirror and splintered wood. He twitches once or twice, and then is still. The evil mage is dead. Despite your best efforts, you can find no openings to the coffin containing Aurora Shadowborn. Further, all your attempts to shatter the crystal have failed, whether by magic or might. The belfry is bitterly cold. Your feet and hands are nearly frozen, and you stumble as you walk away from the coffin. To halt your fall, however, you reach for the nearest thing, a bell rope. Oddly, it seems the room is warming slightly. But perhaps that's only yet another trick of this misbegotten manor house. An idea dawns on you, and you begin to pull at the bell ropes. Frantically, you and your comrades run about, trying to set all the bells into motion. The noise is nearly deafening, but still you struggle on. The crystal coffin shatters. Though strangely, no shards land on the priestess or the mirrored table on which the coffin rests. The young woman struggles for life and awareness.
Where? How? I don't...
Aurora Shadowborn's violet eyes meet yours in confusion. What has happened to me? Her eyes silently plead. The words, "Will you help me?" form on her soft lips.
You can't have her! She's mine, I tell you! Attack them, my minions! Kill them, so they may join us!
Your hand lightly touches the silver surface of the table that once held the priestess Aurora Shadowborn. Without warning and with tremendous speed, you are pulled into the table's mirrored surface. You have no time to react. Your companions are lost to you as well. Where you are now is the only thing that is real. But where is that? You are in a strange other world of endless reflections. You have no concept of up or down, nor are you touching anything of substance. You cannot hear or smell anything, and your eyes are assaulted by image after image after image after image after image, all relentlessly reflected back at you. Oh, when will this strange journey end? Your eyes close to blot out the painful visions. How long a time has passed you cannot know, but your eyes at last slowly open. And you find yourself home again, safe and whole.
Uno vale se nenabo. Onenarena se mabo. Close down. Shane. Oh, down, up, down, up.